What's up, everybody? Mark here with Coffee and Toys, bringing you another weekend Coffee and Toys, talk about toys, drink coffee, see what comes up, reviews, news, and whatnot. Of course, before we get started, today's coffee is Death Wish brand coffee. It is their espresso roast. You can find it in just about any retail store, Target, Walmart, etc. I like it. Death Wish coffee is known for having a whole bunch of caffeine. I think they have 2 times the amount of any other coffee in that amount of caffeine. So this is actually my favorite of all the coffees I do drink. So here's to you. Very good, very good. Very smooth, not bitter at all. Just the way I like it. So, as far as toy news this week, there's a lot going on in the G.I. Joe world especially. If you didn't know, we have entered G.I. Joe June, which Hasbro's done for the last couple of years now. This is kind of the month they have deemed that they are going to release lots of stuff about what's coming up for the next year. So stuff we're going to be getting very soon, stuff that's going to be released within the year, stuff way down in the pipeline that we'll probably see in 2024. But yeah, we'll just jump right into it. We'll discuss it. Let's see, where do we want to start? So I think as in May, they were dropping hints about the next G.I. Joe HasLab. That is going to be announced this Monday, or is it Tuesday? What is today? What is time? I don't know. June 5th, it's going to be announced that the newest HasLab is going to be released. They've been dropping these viral hints of, Storm Shadow breaking into Hasbro headquarters, having conversations with, or listening on conversations between General Hawk and the HasLab team. All this stuff going on. So they're making it fun, and I can appreciate that. Just really quick, my thoughts on the whole HasLab. I'm not a fan of starting a HasLab before the previous HasLabs in my hands. So what do I mean by that? I mean, we got the Sky Striker, I back that. We have not heard much on the Hiss Tank and its progress lately. Now, we know it's getting there. I am just not a fan of Hasbro starting another G.I. Joe classified HasLab, and I don't have the Hiss Tank in hand. They are really focused on getting that money from you, and they haven't, essentially for the classified line, I'm speaking just for the classified line, they have not delivered on their last HasLab. And I know they will. It's not going to be a big deal. But at the same time, it kind of sets in the back of my mind that you haven't even given us a HasLab yet from the classified line, and you're asking us to pony up, let's call it what it's going to be. It's going to be a $300 to $500 price tag. We don't know what it is. There's a lot of rumors going around, everything from Snowcat to Dragonfly, All-Striker. I mean, nobody knows until, there's some people that know, but there's nobody that really knows until they announce it. And I just think it's weird to say, we want more of your money, and we haven't even delivered the last thing that we told you we were going to give you. We haven't even given you an update lately. Now, I'm sure they will give an update, but something about that's just sitting in the back of my mind and making me question whether I want to do this next HasLab. Full disclosure, I did do the Hiss Tank HasLab. I only did one, and I almost didn't. The only reason I did do it was that they announced the Cobra Commander that was going to come with it, and whatever else they announced whenever they said if you did it in the first week. I was like, I'm going to do one and only one. Normally, I would do multiples, and I just had too many irons in the fire with other backing projects like Skeletron and Eternia. Probably, I can't. I at that point I'd done a lot of both third party and the big player Kickstarters, and so I only did one Hiss Tank. But hey, I'm doing one. I supported where I could. And you should too. If you can support it, great. If you can't, that's cool too. But yeah, so, they've been sneaking these little HasLab viral videos or viral messages. And it's been fun. So, I don't know when they announced all the new figures, because it seems like they're already, I know when they announced a couple, but yesterday I read a lot more, and I'm kind of shocked myself. With the G.I. Joe upcoming figures. So the first 2 that I believe they announced that were coming up for pre-order It was kind of out of the blue. I guess they did some sort of live stream and I missed it, or it was on, they probably put it on Twitter or Instagram and I didn't catch it. By the way, there will be a Coffee and Toys Twitter coming up very soon. It's actually already out there if you want to follow Coffee in Toys, coffee_in_toys. It's out there. I just created it a few days ago. But yeah, so they announced the upcoming Arctic Bat, which we knew was coming. We saw it in the background of one of the Snow Job promotional images. It looks great. I like the alternate head it comes with. I like kind of the additional weaponry we get. It looks like it is a specialized bat that actually has stuff with it, unlike the Python Patrol Bat that didn't have anything, or the Crimson Bat that had not very much either. So I appreciate them giving us more with this package, or with this figure rather. So that's very cool. I like that. What else did they announce? There was a whole bunch of stuff. They announced, the Trouble Bubble. That's the big one I think everybody was interested in. So the Trouble Bubble went up along with the Arctic Bat and along with, I don't do notes. I probably should. But they announced the Trouble Bubble, the Arctic Bat, and someone else that I pre-ordered all three of them. Trouble Bubble is kind of what everybody wanted. There was some hee-hawing about it online about how expensive it is, which I don't think it's bad. It's coming in at $54, which, using the old tired line, inflation, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it. It's expensive. We don't do this because it's cheap, right? We collect these figures because we like them. They give us nice feels of nostalgia. That's why we do this. If you're going to complain about it, it's not going to change it, but I can understand. I mean, you got to vent somehow. I get it. But $54, I think someone said previously, they were like, well, the Ram and, those guys, like the Ram and Breaker were only like 44, and Duke, same thing. Yeah, the Trouble Bubble has a little bit more parts to it. Come with a lot more accessories where you can gear out that Televiper however you want, which is very cool. So yeah, I picked up one of those on pre-order from Hasbro Pulse. I do the Pulse Premium subscription. If you don't, I suggest it. It's $50 a year and you get free shipping. So essentially, if you place 3 orders in a year, you're ahead of the game. It's paid for itself. You get your free shipping. You get early access to figures, which is kind of the nicest thing about it, is that they open the window to Pulse Premium members first, and then to everyone else a couple hours later. So that is and you don't have to do anything. You just make sure you stay logged in with your account, and boom, you go in, you can get stuff 2 or 3 hours earlier than the general public. Very cool. It's an old solution that's worked for a long time, so if you don't have it, you probably should. There's my Hasbro. There, I'll throw them an imaginary nickel. So we had the Trouble Bubble, Arctic Bat, and for the life of me, I can't remember what the other one was. I simply can't. Maybe it'll come to me. So, in addition to that, they announced a few figures that are down the pipeline that are going to be coming out at some point. I remember what the other one was. It was Tiger Force Dusty. I believe that was the other one. So that Tiger Force is going to continue to be the exclusive for Target. And I pre-ordered Tiger Force Dusty because, as I've mentioned on this channel before, I don't do mainline characters if they came out in a subline later. I just kind of decide I don't need, unless it's a bad guy, then I kind of do. I'm really partial to Cobra. But like the good guys, I don't need a normal Dusty and I don't need a Tiger Force Dusty. And since the Tiger Force stuff actually came out first, I just said, you know what? I am perfectly content having the Tiger Force figures versus their regular versions. When I was a kid, the Tiger Force version was actually, those sublines were actually easier to find because of my age and, where it was, in my life. It was easier to find Tiger Force figures, and they looked cooler because they were all multicolored. And yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'll just kind of stick with that. I will get the Tiger Force Dusty, so I pre-ordered him as well. So yeah, so they announced that. But then they announced some more figures down the pipe. The Crimson Viper, which was kind of a yawn. It's just a Viper in red. So works with your Crimson Bats, works with, upcoming other Crimson figures we'll get into in a minute. And they also announced Grunt. And Grunt, in my opinion, other than people are kind of complaining about the face sculpt, Grunt is wonderful. He comes with a Steel Trooper, because we can't say the original name anymore because some other person bought it. but it's the Steel Brigade helmet. He comes with an alternate head for the Steel Brigade helmet. He comes with many accessories, including another helmet he can put on. And yeah, he's going to be a great troop builder. He comes with the cartoon rifle, which I can't remember. It's like the ZX7 or something like that. Someone in the comments can tell me what it is. I forget. But it's cool that they're finally releasing Grunt. Grunt's one of my favorite figures. I actually have him back over there, somewhere over there. So I'm always glad when they make an OG-13 G.I. Joe figure. And he looks wonderful, and I can't wait to have the opportunity to pre-order him. So moving forward, they haven't really announced anything else, but there are tons of leaks. So I'm going to share what I've read online with you guys, and you can tell me in the comments below whether they're accurate, whether someone's just blowing smoke or whatever. But there has been a lot of rumors that, and some of them have been announced in previous kind of streams, like, hey, these are pipelines way down. But the big one that stuck out to me was the Chuckles and Armory, which is going to be like a deluxe figure set, I suppose. Or maybe a San Diego Comic-Con, I can't recall. There's a lot of stuff thrown in there. And Chuckles with Armory is kind of leaving people scratching their heads, but the guy comes in a Hawaiian shirt, I'm all in. He's going to look awesome. Hopefully. But he was kind of a big one. What else did that was leaked? They said... They announced something was leaked for San Diego Comic-Con this year, and I'll get to that in a minute. But that's the problem with leaks. You get a list of here's what's coming out, and if I don't have any actual proof, I don't really want to say, yeah, that's definitely happening. Chuckles is kind of one of those fan favorite under the radar guys, so I can totally see that happening. But another one that they announced was an Arctic nunchuck. That's one that I just don't understand. I don't understand why you'd give us an Arctic nunchuck, unless it's just in name only and he actually looks like the vintage style nunchuck figure. If he's in white and black, I'm going to scratch my head a lot. Someone made a comment that, what's he going to do? Is he going to change colors? He's going to be like a Shadow nunchuck or Shadow Ninja's nunchuck? That would be kind of funny. But if it's just a name and he actually looks like the original nunchuck, I'll be okay with it. But that's a weird ninja to make. I think I also read that there was going to be some sort of Crimson Ninja. Maybe not Crimson Ninja, but there's going to be another ninja that's coming out. So I think it's on the Cobra side. Just a lot of weird figures that was in this list. And again, it makes me question, are you actually making these, or is this legit? And we're going to find out more on June 5th. So I'll be tuning into that. I hope you do too. As far as what they're announcing for the San Diego Comic-Con, supposedly it's going to be a Crimson Strike team of Baroness and Tomax and Zaymont to round out the Crimson Bat and the Crimson Viper that we are getting and have already gotten previously. And I don't mind that. That's kind of a staple in the line. I mean, it's just going back to the well. I get it. But it's worked. I mean, we had the O-Ring Crimson Strike team from the G.I. Joe conventions back in the day. They re-released that as a modern era style Crimson Strike team. And I don't blame them for making it a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. If you don't need it, you don't need to get it. I'll definitely pick it up. I don't attend San Diego Comic-Con. There's just no way in Hades I could be able to do that. So I'll if I can't get on Hasbro Pulse, then I'll pick it up on the secondary market. And it is what it is. How do you guys feel about that? Do you guys pick up figures on the secondary market, like San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, or do you guys just pass because they're normally just crazy astronomical in price? For those, and again, San Diego Comic-Con figures, any exclusives, in my opinion, should be kind of optional. And I personally don't look at them as ones I used to, but now I don't look at things like that I need to have those things in my collection, unless it's just boom, and I know I'm never going to get this again. Most of that stuff's just a repaint of something, so if you already have the main character, you don't need it. But let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you pick up every San Diego Comic-Con, every exclusive? Believe me, I understand that. I've been in that boat. I'm glad not to be in that boat anymore. But, if I can get it, I'll get it. I do think it's going to be a cool one, but there are some convention exclusives anymore that I'm just very happy. I don't need to get that. Now, if they announce that this Chuckles is going to be like a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, then I have to, eat my words and get it, because if they're not going to release it again, I have to have it. So, outside of that, I think there were a few more rumors, like I said, of figures that are coming down the line, and I'm honestly trying to decide whether I believe them. Like I said, I read them, and they've already passed through my mind, which means something didn't really stick out enough to me to warrant saying, oh, I'm going to invest more energy into investigating this. Bottom line is, this is G.I. Joe June. They'll probably do the big reveal for the HasLab on the 5th, and a couple pipeline figures. I just remembered another one they said is coming, but it's been announced previously. But like I said, they'll do drops all month. And all the reveals and what they talk about, the rumors or not, whatever gets announced, will carry us through 2024. And G.I. Joe is going nowhere. I mean, G.I. Joe has got to be the cash cow for Hasbro right now, outside of what's their biggest line that they don't pay royalties on? I mean, seriously. It's got to be G.I. Joe. Bar none. They own the IP. They license it out. They're finally... The best thing about Classified wasn't that it was a 6-inch line. It was a fact that they finally understood that they own this line and they can make a ton of money by making... I guess it was that they made it 6-inch, because now they're grabbing everybody from the Marvels and the Star Wars collectors, kind of pulling them in. I've seen so many people say and talk to them saying, hey, I picked up a couple G.I. Joes because they're finally in scale with... And again, it's been going on 3 years now, so that's why it was so hard to find them in the beginning. They did not even know what cash cow they were sitting on. But yeah, so that pretty much sums up what I know and what's kind of stayed in my mind regarding G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe June. So I'm looking forward to it. Full disclaimer, if they announce a Ninja Force Snake Eyes, I'm game. Or I'm sorry, not a Ninja Force Snake Eyes, although I would be game. This Snake Eyes right here, this is my guy. V3 for life. Which one's your favorite Snake Eyes? Drop a comment. Tell me which one's your favorite Snake Eyes and why. Or do you just hate the man to death because he's like the god mode of G.I. Joe? V3 Snake Eyes, all the way. This is actually the cover of the first G.I. Joe comic I ever bought. Actually, I didn't buy it. My parents bought it for me. So that kind of tells you where I came into the comics of G.I. Joe, right at the tail end. But yeah, other news, jumping into Masters of the Universe, Vicron is coming. Vicron I didn't know it was coming. I got an email in my inbox that said 3 days and some odd hours, which I think at this case either equates to Monday or Tuesday. Vicron will be dropping, I think, Limit 3. 7-inch tall figure. I'm assuming he's for the Origins line and not Masterverse, but I'm not sure, because it said 7 inches tall, and I always thought Vicron was supposed to be a little bit bigger than most of them, but he might be Masterverse. He looks awesome. He comes with a ton of accessories. Quick history lesson, if you don't know, back when they were designing Masters of the Universe, kind of deciding what it was going to be, they were making these mock-ups of figures, and they made kind of 3 different ones. One looked kind of like an android, and then again, this is my interpretation of it. One kind of looked like an android. One was a space trooper that was essentially a Boba Fett. Literally they used part of a Boba Fett, I believe, to make the mock-up prototype. And then another one looked like Conan the Barbarian. And they, eventually they decided on the kind of the Conan style, and the rest is, as they say, is history. But Vicron is that barbarian character, champion of Eternia, but way before He-Man, way before, King Randor. He was like the champion of Eternia. And so they're bringing him out. And he looks wonderful. And he's going to come with 3 different armor sets. He's going to come with the barbarian one, the space trooper looking one, and the robotic kind of looking one, which is just going to be like armor that fits over him. But it looks fun. Of course, I think the limit's going to be 3 of each of these figures. So that way you can have one of each. It comes in from my understanding, it comes in non-blister bubble. So it's just going to be in a cardboard package. Looks kind of bland in some instances, but it looks like there's maybe some color on the back, but when you open it up, it's pretty bland from the promotional pictures I've seen. Again, that is coming out this coming week. So if it's anything else, like with Origins or Masterverse, it's going to sell out, fairly quickly. So you've got, generally, you'll have enough time to pick it up, but that window will close very quick. Vicron is definitely a character a lot of us in the hobby would love to have and add to our collection. So that's as far as I know of news on the Masters of the Universe front. What other news have we had this week? I didn't really go out shopping. It's just been another crazy week. These short weeks with a holiday weekend throw everything off. And somehow the week winds up feeling like it takes longer to get through. But I don't really think I have a lot of other toy news or things I know there's nothing else I've really seen. There were some, I think there might have been some wrestling announcements. No, actually I don't even know if there was any wrestling announcements that caught my eye. But, sometimes it's a dead news week. The G.I. Joe stuff is definitely the big talk this week. I'm looking forward to it. Vicron looks really awesome. Can't wait to add him to my collection. I did get a notification today that it said my order from Hasbro Pulse was going to ship, so I clicked on, read what the order was, because I order a lot of stuff and can't keep track of all of it. And it said that my order for the Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader Star Wars Black Series, the N1 Starfighter, that's the Mandalorians vintage collection, and a Black Series Darth Vader that I don't even know. I don't remember what it is, so I don't know what I ordered. But again, I don't normally do... I've been really trying to stay out of the Black Series. And if I was going to collect Star Wars, I told myself it's going to be some of the retro stuff I'm going to get just because it's fun. But I'll stick with the 4-inch vintage collection. But I did wind up getting the Revenge of the Sith Darth Vader because it looked cool and it displays well in the packaging. If you haven't seen a picture of it, do a quick Google search, Revenge of the Sith Black Series Darth Vader. It looks sort of like the poster, the Revenge of the Sith poster. It's all in black and red. It looks awesome. So I figured, hey, I'll get that. I can display that up on my shelf. Leave it in the package. It looks cool. And now I'm sitting here going, which Darth Vader? Oh, I remember which Darth Vader it is. It's the newly redone version with removable mask. So if you don't know, they've only done, to my knowledge, one Darth Vader with removable mask in the Black Series before this one. And that's the first Darth Vader that came out. You could take off his helmet and see Anakin Skywalker underneath, and they never did it again. So they've announced this one's coming out, and I was like, I've got to have that. That first one was so cool back in the day when it first came out, but it's not aged very well. If you want it, it's not cheap. So they've re-announced it, and the helmet, it comes, I think the original one, I can't remember if it came in, if the helmet separated from the front mask or not. This one does. It looks very cool. I'm glad to own that. But when I got this email, it doesn't tell me, it just says that order's getting ready to ship, and I don't believe it's all three of those things, because they have like the Revenge of the Sith Vader is like shipping date originally June 8th, and then the next one's like end of July, and then the next one's like end of this year. So I don't think they're all shipping at once. I could be wrong. I'd be very happy to be wrong in this case. So I at least have some Star Wars stuff coming soon. Very cool to see that. Otherwise, if you haven't seen it this week, I dropped a few reviews. I had to do some double ups to try to get through. As you can see, I still have a stack of Masterverse here I need to get finished up, reviewed for you guys to check out. I did reviews of Snake Trooper and Snake Tila from the Origins line. I did reviews of Roboto Origins, Tongue Lashor. I think it was mostly Origins this week I did, so I need to jump back over to the Masterverse and get some of those reviews up. Like I said, I've got quite a stack over here. So if you're a fan of the Origins, make sure you check out my reviews on those figures. Also still have plenty of more coming up this following week. And final thoughts of the day are, I do plan on doing a review of some third-party stuff coming up soon. I'm going to start doing some reviews of some of the Black Major third-party G.I. Joe figures. And I know that's a hot-button topic for a lot of collectors. If you say Black Major or you say Red Laser, oof, you will get one or the other type answer. It's either love them or hate them. I don't really think there's much of an in-between. I'm sure there is, but for the most part, it's either a love-hate kind of thing. And, I'll be doing some reviews of some exclusive figures I got from Black Major. I think it's cool. I hope you guys think it's cool. Be on the lookout for that. Callsign Longbow, third-party figures, very akin to the G.I. Joes of the 80s, just announced via their Kickstarter notifications that they are going to be at Joe Fest. Joe Fest is coming up, I believe, in this coming weekend or the weekend after in Augusta, Georgia, I believe is where it's at. I've never been to one myself. Would love to get to one. But they are going to be there. They are going to be, and they have announced, rather, they have got clear action figure stands for their figures. They call them invisible stands. And they will fit wonderful with your G.I. Joes, your vintage G.I. Joes, Callsign Longbow. It's all going to work together. And it's got beautiful artwork. They're shipping it in a package that looks like the classic battle packs. The accessories for G.I. Joes came in during the day. It looks wonderful. I love the guys at Callsign Longbow. I can't wait to get some of those ordered. Matter of fact, I'll probably need to do that today while I'm thinking about it, because I'm going to add those to my backer kit. If you haven't heard of Callsign Longbow, check out their videos. I've done an interview with them. I've got a video on their product line. That stuff's going to be shipping soon. What's the other one that I just got a notification from them this week as well? They are doing an O-ring style figure, and I can't think of their name. It's not Operation Recall. They're cool too. Make sure you go check their stuff out. Operation Recall. That work is being done by some of the original G.I. Joe artists. Very cool. Make sure you check them out as well. So there's Operation Recall. There's Callsign Longbow. What's the other one I'm forgetting? I could do a whole episode on Kickstarter figures because I back so many different ones. Oh, gosh. I am drawing a blank. Why am I drawing a blank? Strike Force Alpha. Strike Force Alpha, that's what it is. So, Strike Force Alpha has announced that they are making great progress on their figures. They've added a few additional things, and their stuff is going to be coming out very, very soon. They are getting it made at the factory right now. They are working with the factory. And wow, if you've not seen the Strike Force Alpha figures, please check them out. Man, all this O-ring goodness that's coming out is wonderful. So, while I'm thinking about it, because it just popped in my head, I did see on Instagram, I was very excited to see that one of the former, and I can't remember his name, I want to say his name's Corey, but don't hold me to that, but he used to work on the G.I. Joe team at Hasbro, either with the company or freelance. Maybe he still is, I don't know. But very cool guy, but he has now joined the Skeletron team. And Skeletron has this master of design on their payroll to help with their line, and I cannot be more excited about that. So if you haven't checked out Skeletron, they made that announcement just a couple days ago. It might have been just yesterday. But very cool, very happy for the Skeletron team, and I'm so excited for their product as well. They also recently announced they have more of the what are they called? They're little tiny robot spider guys that I can't think of the name of, but I have them all over my room. Gosh, so many good things happening. You know what? I think I'm going to do a whole episode just on third-party stuff. Or I shouldn't call it third-party, but some of it's third-party. I could do a whole episode on that. So many good things coming this year. 2024 is going to be just as awesome. If you love O-ring, you are in for a treat this next 6 to 8 months. Wonderful things going to happen. Christmas time is going to be amazing. But yeah, with that being said, I think I've pretty much rambled on enough for today. If you've hung out with me the whole time, thank you. Leave the like button or hit the like button. It helps the channel out a lot. Again, public service announcement. We are on the march to 500 subscribers, and we are so close, dangerously close, which means I need to prep a little better because it's going to happen probably within the next week or so. Once we hit that 500, every subscriber is going to be entered into a chance to win one of 5 figure prizes. Doesn't matter where you live. You can live in Timbuktu, you can live in England, you can live in Australia. Doesn't matter. As long as you are a subscriber to this channel, you will be entered for a chance to win one of these 5 figures that I'm giving away. I know for a fact we're doing at least one Star Wars figure. We're going to do multiple G.I. Joe figures, probably at least 2. A wrestling figure most likely, and a MOTU figure most likely. And I mean, right there, boom, there's 5. And I don't even, not 100% sure what I'm even giving away yet, but I'll make it worth your while. That's not true. I did announce 2 of them. One's going to be a retro Crimson Guard from the Classified line, and one of them is going to be a Crimson Bat from the classified line. So there's 2 of them. There's your Joes for sure. I've already announced those. The other 3 are up in the air. I know the Star Wars one is, and I'm just excited to have 500 subscribers. So if you could hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you get all the notifications whenever a new video comes up. I do multiple reviews a week between Masters of the Universe, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, wrestling, any other thing that captures my attention. Like, subscribe, and I will see you later. This is Mark, Coffee and Toys, signing off.